As a legendary war god, Guan Yu never expected that in later generations, he and his trusty steed, the red hare, would both end up as mere toys for others to use.
Oh, whoa! If she keeps doing that, is Guan Yu's gonna break?
Since John became the vice president's lackey, his living conditions had improved dramatically. Not only did he get to help the vice president with leg stretches, but he also had 2 hours of free time every day to go out, and he could spend that time playing games at the arcade. Meanwhile, Sam, who was holding a Guan Yu figurine, felt guilty. He thought that by keeping the figurine, he had allowed his friend to bear the brunt of everything. It was as if he was a traitor. He didn't even notice that the sword tip on the figurine had fallen off. That evening, John happened to find the sword tip while in the restroom. He rushed to report it to the vice president, but found her eating a delicious meal. Using this as leverage, John traded the information for some of the food. The vice president was disgusted when she realized the sword tip had come from the restroom, and quickly tossed it away. But in a moment of carelessness, she ended up throwing the sword tip into the food that was meant for the president to taste. Coincidentally, when the president was eating, she bit into the sword tip. The vice president froze, cold sweat dripping down her face. She knew the president had severe obsessive-compulsive tendencies and couldn't even stand the smallest bit of dirt. She was so terrified that she couldn't even speak. However, the president immediately recognized the piece as part of the Qinglong Yenyue sword. The vice president quickly searched online and discovered that the sword tip was from a Three Kingdoms-themed collectible. She then remembered that Sam was a huge fan of the Three Kingdoms, and deduced that the sword tip must have come from his figurine. Later that night, she went to the restroom on the sports field and found the evidence she was looking for. The vice president was thrilled with the discovery, and rewarded John with an extra half-hour of free time for his contribution. She realized that the information John had provided could be used to control the boys and turn the tables on them. The president told her that the second phase of their plan would be entirely up to her. The next day, during lunch break, the vice president called all the boys together under the guise of giving out rewards. Everyone got some food, but when it was Sam's turn, he received the lost Qinglong Yenyue sword tip. Sam was stunned and frozen with fear. The vice president then pulled out Guan Yu's figurine. Sam quickly tried to explain that he didn't care much about the figurine, only about the real Guan Yu, but the vice president had already anticipated this response. She revealed that she had found out that the figurine was a limited edition, only available in Akihabara on the weekend. Coincidentally, that weekend was the day of the athletics competition, the same day that George had escaped. With this and Sam's odd behavior that day, the vice president concluded that Sam had helped plan George's escape, and that the figurine was his reward. To force Sam into admitting it, the vice president made a dramatic move. In front of everyone, she began to ride the Guan Yu figurine like it was a real horse.
My, what a comfortable saddle. Giddy up. Giddy up.
Tied up in that muddle! Fast!
When Sam still refused to admit it, she used another technique to humiliate him further.
Whoa! Whoa! If she keeps doing that, is Guan Yu's gonna break?
At that moment, Sam couldn't hold back, and refused to let Guan Yu be dishonored like this. He rushed up and grabbed the figurine.
Madam President, as you can see, his desire to save the figure is proof of his